Welcome to the Workforce Connections podcast, where we discuss workforce development in Southern Nevada. Here's your host.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the WC podcast. Today, we have a very special friend. I am so grateful for all the support that she gave to us during her years as mayor. So former mayor of the city of Henderson, current chair of the Urban Land Institute of Nevada, former chair of the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada, Southern Nevada's friend, really, Debra March. Welcome to the podcast, Debra.
Thank you very much. It's so wonderful to be here with you, Jaime.
Yeah, we're so grateful. I know we've been talking about this for a while, but there's busy schedules. There was travel. There was the legislative session. A lot of stuff happening. So I don't think there's many people who haven't interacted with you or heard, about you or like me, got to work with you. As a Henderson resident, I was proud to attend some of the meetings to support, for example, where the Henderson Silver Knights play now, the family, the Lee Arena, who knew? I mean, now we'll take it for granted, but it was you and your council who drove ideas like that, like the practice arena on Water Street. Today, you just walk Water Street. I remember 20 years ago, it didn't look like that. So we want to hear about all this stuff. I'm so grateful of your years of mayor. But tell us, before we get to years of mayor, tell us where you were born, where you grew up. Take us to maybe high school graduation or your first job at a high school.
Okay. I grew up in Detroit and a family of 8 kids. And so we learned about working hard together early on and cooperating and making things happen because we worked hard to do that. So I graduated from high school, went to an all-girls Catholic school.
All in Detroit?
All in Detroit. And then went to college, and my parents moved out to Nevada, and I thought, well, I have an opportunity to move to Nevada. And at the time, Nevada had just set up a medical school, and I thought, well, maybe I'll go to medical school, move out to Nevada, and then get into the school. But then things happened, and my first career ended up being as a park ranger in Red Rock Canyon. So actually, wow. I used to drive this road out front here, Charleston, to get to work every day.
Did it look a lot different?
Looked a lot different. The roads were dirt in Red Rock. They weren't paved roads.
Wow! And now the urbanization is almost to Red Rock.
Yes.
I mean, you literally end the last houses and you're right at Red Rock already.
Yeah, and I hope that they stop there.
Yeah, somewhere we have to stop. Wow. So
towards Red Rock, I just think that's such a wonderful, beautiful asset, beautiful. And we need to protect it.
Wow. So what was it like working? That was a federal job, working as a ranger?
Actually, it was a state park ranger.
State park ranger. And what happened for you to go from, working for the state as a state park ranger? Tell us about the journey to mayor of Henderson. How did that happen?
That was quite a different journey. I guess I would never have expected that I would have ended up as mayor. That wasn't in the trajectory. But I was a park ranger here in Southern Nevada. And then I went to Lake Tahoe, and I was a park ranger up in Lake Tahoe for about 2.5 years.
Too.
It was fabulous. And I was married then, and my husband moved to Ely, Nevada, and I thought, well, I better get a job in Ely. I became a social worker, and I worked for 8 years as a social worker in Ely, and then ended up coming to Southern Nevada, where I worked for the governor. I regulated the real estate industry here.
Which governor?
It was actually Miller.
Okay.
Ed Miller. Yeah, I had to think about that.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you really have had very diverse stages of your professional life.
Yes.
State employee, park ranger, and social worker, real estate.
Real estate,
wow.
Which I believe all of those things that I've done have made me a better leader, have made me a better representative of people, understanding the issues. After I was regulating the real estate industry, I actually went to work for the city of Las Vegas, did their economic development marketing, and then came to UNLV. And I was at UNLV for 16 years, where I ran the lead institute for real estate studies in the College of Business.
Wow. And so
very diverse.
Yeah. And now it makes sense to me why you're the chair at the Urban Land Institute too. But all those things, I think, prepared you to be mayor as well. Yes. Because I remember you dealing a lot with homeowner associations and things that had to do with housing and planning and urban development.
Use.
Yes. That's awesome. I also didn't know that you spent years at the city of Las Vegas. Who was the mayor then?
Jan Jones.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. That is great. Wow. It's so wonderful also to know that after Jan, there's Carolyn, there's you, there's Pam, there's Michelle. Now it's more normal for us to have, women mayors. And so it's great for us to have daughters who can point and see, look.
And maybe someday a woman president.
That's right. That's right. We can't wait. So in your time as mayor, again, that's when I met you, and I, as a resident, because I moved right there to Pebble and Peckles before there was the 215. They were building Bob Miller Middle School and Vanderburg Elementary School and Coronado High School, and so those were the schools my kids got to go to. But now, again, thanks to the efforts of you and the council those years, we have a wonderful sports arena in the neighborhood, a wonderful district. It's just so much. And so tell us a little bit about, and there's others, tell me about the accomplishments that you are proud of in their years as mayor, member of the council.
There are a number of things that I really look back and reflect on and I'm very proud of. Obviously, one is Water Street and the redevelopment and making that a vibrant area of our city. When I first joined the city council, I remember saying that redevelopment was going to be one of my priorities, looking at Water Street. And I had people telling me it's not possible. We've tried it. The jail is downtown, the courthouse is downtown, so you can't possibly make that happen. I think I would challenge you that if you go down there right now, you wouldn't even know there's a jail down there and a courthouse. But the vibrancy around the new restaurants and the new housing that's been developed down there, and I think the Watermark is going to be opening fairly soon. They're going to start renting up those spaces.
The practice facility next to downtown.
Facility, and the screen that's on the side of it that opens that space up for folks to come together and experience plays and productions and we have viewings often down there for the sports teams. It's very exciting to see what's happened down there.
And now that doesn't end there, because having brought sports and great entertainment and dining to Water Street, but you also set the foundation for that's not happening now with these two other sports. One will go at the Phil Fiesta site, and the other one more West Henderson. But that's going to make Henderson even a bigger player in hosting sports tournaments and things, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
One of the last things I did as mayor of Henderson was to purchase the Fiesta site from the Stations Casino, and I saw the potential for that. And they obviously didn't want to see another casino on that site. I saw the potential for as a community asset, and especially with its location at the 515 and the 215, it's just a perfect piece of land. And so for the city to be able to control that land and to bring the proper uses onto that site, that'll include community recreation amenities as well. I think that's going to be a wonderful asset for all of the people of Henderson.
It will. Yeah. Right now, when you drive by, you just see the garage, which is kept for a strategic reason, cost. But I can't wait to see that develop. Like you said, I've seen the renderings. But then there's another site similar, smaller perhaps, in West Henderson that will also house something similar, right?
Yes, they're building a facility. It's behind the Chicken and Pickle facility, which if you haven't been to West Henderson, you have to go. It's a lot of fun. But this facility they've started construction, and so it should be open probably in another year. And that'll be a wonderful recreational amenity for the community members who live out in the west part of the city. For a long time, all we had was on that west side was really the recreation, the multi-gen facility at Green Valley Parkway and Paseo Verde, and it really wasn't serving the folks who live further west. So this is going to create some more assets and resources and opportunities for the residents of that part of the city.
It just keeps getting better for those of us who choose to live in Henderson. But in that side, staying on that west side, I mean, who would have thought years ago with Mayor Hayfen and before your time, but during your time, the Raiders chose to be headquartered?
I actually brought the Raiders to Henderson,
So Raiders, next to them, the Aces.
Yes.
A little bit down, Haas Automation. Tell us a little bit about that development, the Debra March Center of Excellence.
Oh, thank you.
Tell us about that.
A lot of my background, having been at the university and having done economic development for the city of Las Vegas, really was in the area of economic development and diversification. And we really, for a long time, were just a bedroom community to Las Vegas. And we knew that we needed to create opportunity for jobs that were diverse and that were jobs of the future that would create opportunity for folks to be able to afford to live, work, and play in our community. So creating jobs and bringing jobs like Haas Automation, that they build the machines that build machines, and they're advanced manufacturing.
Around the world.
Around the world. They go to, I think, 60 countries that they actually export to. And so we're kind of excited about what they will bring to our community when they build out. They're under construction right now.
It's going up fast.
It's going up very fast. And I think it'll really make a difference to have those jobs situated in our community, good paying jobs where, $60,000 a year or better jobs.
And to support that, again, CSN with the city partnered to build a center of excellence to help with training, upskilling. And it must be nice to for you to walk by and see your name on that building.
Yeah, it was an honor. I didn't expect it, and I was pleasantly surprised after I retired. I was invited back by the city, and they dedicated that building.
It's well deserved. Now, another thing I like about, again, what Mayor Michelle Romero, one of my bosses, we love her here at Workforce Connections, is doing is that, and Richard and now Stephanie, they do take the time to recognize your work, because recently you also traveled to DC with them to receive an award. I want our listeners to hear about this award because it takes years.
Yeah, it was a 15-year journey.
Tell us about
to
that
receive
journey.
the Malcolm Baldrige Award. Well, basically, in fact, when I was elected mayor, I had this quote and I kept a plaque on my desk, and I would give them out to people who would come to my office, and it says, "Without facts and data, you're just another person with an opinion." And a lot of people have opinions about how things are or should be and whatever. But actually, when you have the facts and data, you can reflect on what really is occurring in a community. And Henderson was really good about making sure that we measured what we did, that the citizens were actually happy with what we were doing. Otherwise, we would pivot and do something different with the resources if it wasn't something that the citizens wanted. So, and we did that with businesses and even with our own employees in the organization to be a more efficient, well-run organization. And I think getting this award, it was truly the culmination of 15 years of effort, and just so proud of the employees over there, because really without them, we would not have achieved that.
Yeah, it's a great team that you built, and they have their, Michelle has there now.
Yes.
But again, it was for me, it felt great that they included you there, and you were in the
Yes.
picture of that team, even though you were retired. That was a reflection of all the work that was put in by you and the other members of the council, including Michelle, Jerry Schroeder.
We love our city.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, really, most people who work at Henderson and who have worked in the past at Henderson are proud of the things that we've accomplished. I mean, we have a park or a trail within a 10-minute walk of 70% of the homes. We have one of the safest communities in America. I mean, we look at quality of life and how we can improve the vision and the assets and the resources, and making sure that we have the proper amount of retail or the housing is built to a quality and standard, and
Fire department.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think they're triple accredited and award-winning fire department.
Yep.
So
I have one a block from my house.
awesome.
And that's always.
What neighborhood are you in?
So I'm in Pebble Creek.
Oh, okay.
Right by the Claim Jumper and the old Zappos location.
Yeah,
Right in that
wonderful.
location. A good friend of ours, Puna Mathur, also lives in the neighborhood. Yeah, so we bought early on when those developments were brand new, and we've been residents over 35 years.
Oh my goodness!
And seen all this change. That's why I'm so.
Do you feel comfortable and confident in how the city has planned and managed that change?
Absolutely, I think that's why and I appeared, as you remember, at meetings because I was. I really saw the vision, believed in what you guys were saying, that, we can, like you said, become more than just a bedroom community. We can become really a thriving industrial business, hosting events,
It's a great quality of life for our residents. So we're not losing that in the process of development.
To the contrary, I believe it's come up. You have world-class dining nearby, world-class sports. And to talk about sports before I forget, so I know you were proud about this. Not only do we have professional hockey, professional football, professional volleyball, professional lacrosse now also there, but we have a 2-time world champion women's basketball team hosted
yes,
there.
The Aces in West Henderson.
And so who would have thought just 10 years ago, right? So, but before I forget, I think you teed it off there. We've talked a lot about the accomplishments that we're all as residents of Henderson proud of, and appreciate the work of you and the council over these years, and that Michelle continues to carry on with her council. But what do you see, having had the experience of having been in that seat for many years, now the next 10 years, what do you see as the biggest opportunities for Henderson in the next 10 years?
I think probably thoughtful development and good planning continuing, and that the city has many resources, and there's still a lot of available land that can be developed, but to do it in a thoughtful way, understanding what our situation is with water resources. And, oftentimes, even though people resist it, actually higher density housing uses less water because much of the water that we use is on the exterior of buildings. So if we could be more thoughtful about and maybe look at some higher densities, but we have some great areas of possibility and development. I think the area in front of Nevada State University offers a great opportunity to support the activities that are happening on the campus, but you're having a growing population out there of students coming in, maybe create some opportunities for housing, for jobs, for grocery stores. I know the neighbors in that area, there's things that they would like to see in that area to support their lifestyle.
On that side of the freeway, Debra, or across the freeway through Wagon Wheel?
Actually, right by Nevada State University.
On that side.
The city actually owns a piece of land right in front of Nevada State, and it would probably complement what Nevada State is working on for their master plan.
Nice.
To build the future for them. And then, of course, in West Henderson, there's still a lot of land that's available out in West Henderson. But I think it's important that as the city works through this process, that they engage the citizens, because many believe that there shouldn't be any development, obviously. And so it's important to educate them that folks who own land have an opportunity and a right to be able to develop that land. But let's do it in a thoughtful way that meets the needs of the community and doesn't create intense impacts on transportation systems and land use systems as well.
Land. One of the things I can't help to notice when I drive in our city is, let's say you're standing in the district and you look up south, towards the mountains, and we're carving into those mountains.
Yeah.
Is that something that you think will continue in the next 10 years?
I think that obviously that area of Dragon Ridge and Askaya will build out. I'm not sure you're going to see that kind of development continuing up in the canyon, because I don't think there's a lot of available land for that to happen. But you will see the Four Seasons project that's going up in Dragon Ridge. And I believe there's a denser, like a multifamily project that's being planned for up in the sky as well. Okay. So that's probably what you'll see. I would love to see more development that complements the habitat and complements the natural environment and doesn't carve into the mountain.
Yeah, the view from up there is beautiful.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful. Now, on the other side, like you said, those are great opportunities, I think, ahead of us. But with opportunities always come challenges too. And nobody more than you has been in the challenging times of the city. What are some challenges that you see perhaps we have to be watchful for and mindful?
Well, I think we are still monitoring what's going to be happening with the economy, given some of the changes that are happening at the national level. And then obviously, I think they're looking at the state level. Our budget I think they're cutting back. Maybe they're short 160 million. That's a significant impact.
Yes.
So how will those lack of resources impact quality of life for our community? So I think that there's things obviously that we can do at a local level as a community to help absorb some of that, but maybe there's things that we can do that don't have significant financial impact for our residents. And I think Henderson has been pretty strong about keeping our taxes low to not have that impact on our residents. So they may have to look at some things that allow us to afford to offset some of these losses that we are experiencing at the federal and state level.
I found it very interesting, Debra, that in the last election, as you said, I think we as residents are very conscious of how careful the government has been in Henderson to keep it down. But yet when we were given the opportunity to vote for a little raise to fund more fire department houses, locations, and libraries, the vote was yes. The Henderson, resident.
I don't think they supported it, did they?
Yeah, I did at least.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And a lot of people I did. So you're right. I don't know the final outcome, but I thought that was nice to have that opportunity to vote.
Well, the fire department falls under Henderson, but the library district is a separate district from the city of Henderson.
That's right. It's not a city thing.
And so it isn't like we could absorb it in another way. Libraries are standalone, so they're going to have to look at how they serve
and
people.
Perhaps that's why there were separate questions too.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
very
because
interesting.
yeah.
So now again, we have talked a lot about, the past and a little bit about the future, but I want to talk about the now because, it's exciting. For me, it's always great to find you in events still involved. And when you told me what you were doing, that's when I thought we need to get you on the podcast. Tell us about what topics you're passionate about now, including we've heard, you're the current chair of the Urban Land Institute of Nevada. But what is filling your plate today?
Yeah.
How do you keep, still busy in all the expertise that you have? You're still contributing to the community. Tell us about what's happening, whether it's the Urban Land Institute of Nevada or other places.
Okay. I have been a member of the Urban Land Institute for over 30 years. And then when I became an elected official, I was actually vice chair of Urban Land, and we had a pretty strong membership. And then when I went into city council, I stepped back from that role. And after I retired as mayor, I was asked to step back in, and so I stepped in. We had our national conference here, actually international conference.
Wow.
We had over 10,000 people at Resort World last fall. And I was able to do the welcoming remarks and invite people into the community to learn more about Southern Nevada. So I was pleased to be able to be a part of that. And now I'm chairing, and we are trying to put programming together on a monthly basis to help educate folks about placemaking and quality of life for communities and how we build places of lasting value. And we've recently hosted what's called Urban Plan, and it's an exercise where we bring elected and appointed officials like planning officials and redevelopment for people or folks who are even on the Board of Regents. We had some Board of Regents attend our last session where we educate them about how you design communities, why you design them a particular way, and the compensating benefits, the things that make a community work, and looking at where retail should be placed against residential uses and public uses, and how and why you build communities in certain ways. And so it was really a wonderful exercise. We had probably about 30 folks participating from the community. We hosted it at the city of Las Vegas, and that was about a week and a half ago.
Wow.
It was a huge success, and I know we get great feedback from folks who participate in it, and I'm excited to be able to host it on a regular basis, maybe once a year.
And so that's how you stay connected with Dina Babsky at the City of Las Vegas,
Yes, yeah.
Jared Smith at Henderson, Jared Luke at North Las Vegas, Shani Coleman at the county. You're right, still in the middle of all that work.
Exactly.
That's great.
Exactly, yeah. And I think we're building quality community, and that the whole idea behind Urban Land is really, it's really the preeminent organization around good master planning and community design. And it's an organization that's, its members are made up of a lot of the developers who are developing community, and so we're working together with the developers and with the community to build these communities of lasting value. Really.
Does this work with the Urban Land Institute of Nevada? Leave you time for anything else, or is it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, tell us a little bit about.
Well, I'm doing some consulting work.
Okay.
In fact, I'm engaged on Southern Nevada Strong with Bill Marion and some other folks, so I'll be a part of it. Obviously, we kicked it off in Henderson over 15 years or 10 years ago, I guess now. But we received the grant probably 15 years ago and started to do the early research. So I chaired it from the beginning, and so for me, it's more of a labor of love to be involved in really good planning and land use and thoughtful leadership around our community, so that we're regionally working and cooperating and collaborating together. And I think regionalism and while we each keep our own identities is important, but I think regionally working together to solve problems, because whether it's bringing a sports team to our community or whether it's diversifying the economy and bringing advanced manufacturing, we're all in this together. And one of the things I'd like to point out to folks is that our residents really lead regional lives, that they may live in Henderson, but they're working in the city of Las Vegas. They're doctors in North Las Vegas.
Yes.
They're traveling around the valley. And really, there's no defining line that defines Henderson from Vegas, from Clark County to North Las Vegas. We really are all over the valley. So it's important that we are collaborating and cooperating and solving these challenges together.
And I think, again, that's why for me, I was really proud as a resident to see the mayors, again, you, Carol and Pam, now Michelle, really work together, as you said, and show the community that we are a region. We win and lose together. We build together. And so it's not just words. You guys have shown it with action.
Absolutely.
So that's really good.
And I'm very proud of the leaders that we have in the Valley now. I think Michelle and Pam and Shelley now, and they're doing wonderful work.
Yeah.
And Joe Hardy down.
That's right.
at Boulder
Doc.
City. Yeah, Doc Hardy.
He was here too. Doc, we love Doc. And you've mentioned the people with great experience, like Shelley. We're tapping into her experience again now as mayor. But I just heard you say that if, as a thought leader and somebody with so much experience in our valley and regionalism, if somebody was to hire the services of Debra March, they can do that. They can go find you and hire. Okay, that's good to know. we want the public to know that we can go and still tap into your expertise.
Thank you.
Looking back in your career, you told us a little bit about how it was never on your plan to become mayor. But what other surprising or unexpected fact can you share with us to say, that wasn't in the plan, but that was really cool, unexpected, surprising? What other moment of your life?
Well, actually, becoming a park ranger, for example, I was the first woman park ranger in Nevada, and I had worked with this woman in doing interpretation for the parks, and Liz Warren.
Wow.
She's since deceased and was one of my mentors early on. But she was one of the people that said to me, "Oh, you can do this," and having somebody believe in you. I think we all need in our lives and in our careers a mentor who believes in us, who helps us to find our way. And
first woman park ranger in the state. Wow.
Yeah. So I think it's important for us to help others to achieve their goals as well. In fact, I think at this stage in my life, it's gratifying to me to be able to be a part of helping other people see what they can accomplish, and not to see the limits, but to see the opportunities.
That's awesome. That's so good. Now, we've talked a lot about your work, your career, your professional life, unexpected surprises. But tell us a little bit, give our listeners and our viewers a little glimpse into the private Debra March. What kind of hobbies, interests, things do you enjoy when you're not giving to our community, when you're really spending your Debra time with your family? What are the things that bring you joy? How do you use your personal time?
Oh, thank you. Last weekend I actually went with a group of friends, and we biked the south rim of the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
And so we spent 3 days and biked along the south rim of the Grand Canyon. It was great fun. I love to cycle. I love just about anything in the outdoors, so hiking. And in fact, I'm going this weekend to do a cleanup on Sunday at Willow Springs out in Red Rock, that there's a trail cleanup project. So I committed to doing that. But I love to hike. I own a mobile home at Lake Mead at Boulder Beach. So when I have a chance, I run out to the lake and just hang out. And I have a kayak, and I started playing pickleball with friends, so that's kind of fun too. In fact,
At West Henderson?
Actually, we go to Chicken and Pickle Monday evenings.
Wow.
And play pickleball together.
That place is fantastic.
It is really wonderful.
You can eat and play.
Yeah.
And it sounds really nice. Boulder, I didn't know Boulder Beach. Has it changed? It has been
It's National Park.
Yeah. But has the water,
It's receded. some. Yeah.
How much has that changed the area?
It's still very vibrant with boaters. Summer months are probably stronger than the winter months, although the winter months do very well. It's very peaceful out there. In fact, I have to tell you, at my mobile home, I sleep better out there than
I bet. I drive that way to go to Valley of Fire. I choose to go down there and around.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful scenic drive, as you said.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And at night, it drowns out the city noises and lights.
You don't even see the lights.
Nice.
It's very peaceful.
That sounds very nice. So you're doing okay and you're enjoying your time. Now, you talked about bikes. One thing I don't own one, but the little one I poke interest. Today's bikes are very different. They're very high tech. They even have little motors to assist.
You can have a e-bike, or you can have a regular bike. In fact, sometimes when we ride for breakfast in the morning, sometimes out to Boulder City, and we'll do the River Mountain Trail, and you'll see a variety of bikes that are on the trail there. And I understand that the county and is looking at regulating some of the electric bikes, and so it'll be interesting to watch what they're going to accomplish. And I think the city of Henderson is also looking at probably the small bikes where there's young kids that are maybe not wearing helmets, and it could be kind of dangerous. So I think we're looking at that.
the little that I know about bikes, another good friend of the organization who I know you know in Valley is Councilman Scott Black from North Las Vegas. Yeah. We ran into him the last time you and I saw each other was at the luncheon over there in North Las Vegas. But he loves bikes, and in his office there's a bike on the wall, and so that's how I learned about bikes have really evolved. And so when you went to the Grand Canyon, were you using a power assisted?
Yes, an e-bike, but I also have a Lightspeed, which is a road bike.
Okay, wow, that's very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that personal side of you. I also want to tap more into that personal side of you to say there's a lot of probably young people who say, wow, I could never be mayor, but you never thought that either.
Oh, I never expected to be mayor.
Yeah, and to have this very diverse career that you have. And I always think if you and I can talk to the 18-year-old version of ourselves, number one, I wonder if they'd listen, because, when you're young, but we have so much wisdom, more wisdom now today. If you could say to an 18-year-old girl or boy that looks at you as inspired by your story, what advice would you give them to be able to have a chance at that very diverse career progression that you've had, and then maybe even be one day an elected official who makes so important decisions that shape a community?
Yeah, and I think it's important making wise decisions along the way, right? Being thoughtful about what you're learning. So put yourself in a position to be a student of things that matter, things that will impact quality of life, whether it's good planning practice, whether it's engineering and understanding why we build roads where we do, and why we build communities the way we do. And obviously at the federal level, there's a lot of different levels of politics and public policy that you need to understand, and why we make decisions that we do, and how you work to collaborate with other folks. And I think looking back on my career, I probably, if I had a little more confidence in my ability and believed in myself a little more, I probably would have started a political process maybe earlier. As opposed to, because I believed, I needed to be better equipped, or to understand issues, to understand why we plan the way we do. Like, my background included economic development, it included parks and recreation, it included social work, all of those things. Real estate, all of those things I used as a leader. Yes. And whether it was acquiring real estate, whether it was planning good communities, whether it was looking at where we placed parks and trails and open space. I felt like those things made me a better leader. Sometimes you see people go into politics that really don't have an understanding. They just happen to get elected. And maybe there's a big learning curve for them, where if they could have maybe taken the time beforehand to learn some of those things, they might be a better, more effective leader earlier.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Before we say goodbye, again, I want to say again, as a resident first, but also as a friend and an admirer and a colleague that we work together, thank you for all the good work that you and the council put together. It's evidence around where we live, like you said, proud to be a Henderson resident, grateful to have world-class dining, world-class entertainment next to safe communities, and a fire department always nearby. All the things that go into thoughtful, wise planning, as you said. So thank you for that. But before we say goodbye, tell us, you're involved again with a lot of organizations, not just still with the city when you need to be with the Urban Land Institute of Nevada. You're involved with many organizations. Is there any events, any happenings that are coming up that you want us to know about, you want the listeners and viewers?
I do some consulting for the Raiders, and they're having their Black and Silver Gala this weekend. I am on the board of Boys Town, Nevada, and they're doing some great work around supporting our children in our schools, and they just expanded into the that center.
In Henderson?
No, it's over in Vegas, South Vegas. Anyway, they've expanded, and they're providing services out of that facility as well as over in the city of Las Vegas.
Wow.
With Urban Land Institute, we're going to be hosting an event on the 23rd of May, and it's called the Emergent City. And it's really looking at how cities are developed. It's actually a movie that's going to be previewed. The film producer's going to be there, and then there'll be some discussion about it afterwards. And that's on the 23rd over at Desert Breeze. And we invite folks. We have a website and a LinkedIn page for Urban Land Institute. So if folks want to track and follow some of the things that are going on at Urban Land, we try to do an event every month, and basically to help educate and inform and to raise the bar around good planning and land use in our community and good master planning.
That's awesome. Well, our listeners just heard you say, they can look at the URL, the website for the Urban Land Institute. We'll put it here on the screen for our YouTube viewers to share, and all the Raiders events and the things that you've shared, we'll put them up here on the screen so people can tap in and get involved. So, Debra, also always a great pleasure to see you. I've been waiting for this day for you to come. Thank you for making the time.
Thank you.
And we hope to have you back again.
Thank you. I'd love to.
All right. Great to see you.
Great to see you.
Well, that's it for another episode of the WC Podcast. We hope to see you at a future one. Until then, stay safe. All right, Debra, thank you for staying over to do our bonus segment called Against the Wall. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. The first segment is called Your Favorites. I'm going to give you a category. You're going to give me your favorite thing in that category. Let's start with an easy one. What's your favorite food?
Sushi.
Your favorite beverage with sushi?
Oh, sake.
Your favorite car you've ever owned?
The one I have now.
What is it?
It's a little Mercedes.
Awesome. Your favorite musical group or artist?
Oh, gosh. Santana.
Your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, The Way We Were.
Favorite book?
Oh, I don't know. I have a lot of books. I have like a stack of books next to my bed.
Give me a couple.
Cast.
Nice.
Oh gosh. I'm just drawing a blank.
That's okay. Favorite college sports team?
Favorite college, Michigan football.
Favorite professional sports team?
The Raiders, of course.
Awesome. You made it through the first segment. The second one's called Tough Choices. It gets a little harder. I'm going to give you two choices. Hopefully you can pick one. Are you ready?
Yes.
Vacation or staycation?
Vacation.
When you go to your vacation, do you rather fly there or drive there?
Fly.
Once you get there, hotel or Airbnb?
Hotel.
One day when you retire, will it be in the ranch or in the city?
In the ranch.
If you can,
and by the way, I've retired 3 times, so I failed retirement.
And I like how you have a kind of a rural setting by the beach, and then you can still live in the city too. If you have a choice, would you rather spend a day by the ocean or hiking in the mountains?
Both. That'd be a tough one, so I want both.
Good. If you were a superhero, would you rather have the ability to fly or breathe underwater?
Breathe underwater.
The ability to speak with animals or speak any foreign language?
Speak with animals.
Here's where it gets hard, Debra. Actions or words?
Okay. Oh, which would I?
Yeah.
Oh, that
which
was
would you choose? I know.
I thought that was a new.
This is hard. You got to choose between actions or words.
I think intentions is, what do people intend?
Very good.
And how do they act?
Justice or grace?
Grace.
You made it through the second segment called Tough Choices. The last one is called Finish the Sentence. I'm going to give you about 90% of a sentence. You're going to finish it for me. You ready?
Yes.
If Debra could visit any place in the world, it would be?
The south of Spain.
The best part about living here in Southern Nevada is?
The people.
Currently, Debra's favorite thing to do is?
Outdoor activities.
If Debra could travel back in time, she would travel to?
Oh, gosh, probably my childhood with my parents.
Very nice. And 3 words that describe Debra are?
Graceful, joyful, and honorable.
I couldn't agree more. Doing the WC podcast here today with us was?
Amazing. Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for being here with us.